There are three big copywriting objections that you're going to run into with any offer you make. And it's not even just copywriting. It's like any marketing or advertising or selling message, or even selling to somebody one-on-one, because it's all fundamentally the same buying decision making process that you have to go up against. And I shouldn't even say against, but it's the same fundamental buying decision making process, and the same internal doubts that people run up against that you have to help them through. And if you don't help them through these doubts, then you're not going to make the sale. You're not going to close the deal or the persuasion or whatever. And one of these is pretty obvious, but the other two may not be nearly as obvious, and yet they're just as important, if not more so. So I want to address these. I want to talk about these three major copywriting objections, like deep level objections. And also I want to give you three questions that you can make sure that your messages answer in order to make more sales. So it's an objection and a question to make sure that you address that objection. And so, and we're not talking here about like price, right? Okay, price. People are going to say prices are objection, or I have to think about it, or whatever. Like, they're going to say that that's their objection when you haven't gotten to the deeper issues. When you get to the deeper issues, there's no more price objection. There's no more I have to think about it. There's no more whatever, because it's just like they're so compelled and moved to give you money that none of those things come up. So the first objection is, I don't believe the product can get the result. I don't believe the product can get the result. And you can insert service, whatever. I don't believe what you have to offer me can actually get me this result. And that comes down to, you're making a bunch of promises, and for whatever reason, they don't believe those promises. And it's kind of our default mode, especially the more marketing we run into every day, and it's thousands upon thousands of marketing, advertising, and selling messages that we see every day. Like, we have to be trained to screen that stuff out. Our mind has to screen that stuff out automatically, or else we would be broke as a joke. Like, it's our brains have to be trained to ignore and screen out advertising. And so by default, as prospects, we say, I don't believe it. I don't care. I don't want to hear it. I don't believe it. Whatever. I believe that you have a vested interest in lying to me, in promising more than you can deliver. Like, that's how we respond to sales messages, marketing messages. And so as the copywriter, as the marketer, as the persuader, as the salesperson, you have to say, why should your prospect, like, you have to answer the question, why should your prospect, believe your promises? And so you need proof elements and credibility elements and believability elements, like everything that you can do to make sure that any claim that you make is backed up and is believable and is something that they can buy into. And so you're making promises all the time, you're making statements all the time. And the more that you can back those up with more than just an assertion, right? More than just a promise, more than just a, hey, I believe that this is true, so this is true, right? Your prospect doesn't believe that. And so the more that you can back up with, like, there's 26 different types of proof, credibility, and believability elements that I teach in my training on that topic. There is a lot that you can do to bring proof and credibility and believability into your marketing. And so if you do everything you can to back up the believability of your promises and answer this question, why should your prospect, believe your promises? Why should your prospect believe your promises? Then you're addressing that, like, first level of, I don't believe the product or the service can get the result. I don't believe the product can get the result. You're addressing that. But that's like the most superficial objection that you're going to run into. The next level objection that you're going to run into, and maybe this one is actually the deepest, is, I don't believe that I can get the result. I don't believe that I can get the result. Like, we As much as so many of us like to project confidence, the reality is that most of us are walking around and we're like fragile little eggshells of human beings. And we are afraid that we are going to be found out for the imposters that we are. We're afraid that we're going to be found out for the failures that we are. And your prospect is that too. Your prospect has tried things and they've failed. They've tried to solve the problem. They've tried to get the outcome. They've tried to get the result and they have failed. And you have to have empathy for that. You have to understand that they don't want to feel like a failure again. They don't want to feel like a failure again. And they may believe that your product or service is the best thing since sliced bread. But they may believe also that they will, like, even if it is the best, most fail-proof approach, whatever, towards getting them the result, they may feel that they will F it up, that they're just totally going to botch it and it's going to go terribly. And so you have to address that. And the question that I wrote down here is, how is this different than everything that's failed me before? How is this different than everything that's failed me before? And a special emphasis should be put on, like, how is this set up to make it easier and more automatic that I get the results that I am looking for versus everything I've tried before? What have you put in place that counteracts any past failures? How have you given me a new understanding of my persistent problem? I call that the NUP secret, NUPP secret, and I have a different video on it. How have you given me a new understanding of my persistent problem and why I failed in the past and what was missing? Like, what was the missing link, the missing piece? And how does your product or service address that to make success automatic, to make success something that, like, I can't screw this up, right? And if your product isn't built that way, you should do your best to actually build your product that way and adjust your product, adjust your offer so that it does that. So I don't believe the product can get the result. I don't believe I can get the result. And then this next one, this is where we start to blame other people. I don't believe the world around me will let me have the result. I don't believe the world around me will let me have the result. So, we may come up believing that society is stacked against us, that the economy is stacked against us, that people in our lives, like our loved ones, are our biggest doubters. Our friends make fun of us for our shortcomings or how, we fail to live up to our dreams. All sorts of external influences are swirling around us at all times. And those external influences can cause a different type of self-doubt. Even if, like, we believe in ourselves, and even if we believe in the product, we may feel like no matter what happens, even if we are successful, we're going to get knocked down or, knocked out or whatever. And so the question that you have to answer in response to that is, how will you support me sticking it to my doubters and overcoming all external obstacles? How will you support me sticking it to my doubters and overcoming all external obstacles? So, for example, in the entrepreneurship space, one of the ways that masterminds are sold, or coaching programs where it's like a group coaching program, is that it gives you an opportunity to surround yourself with success influences. Even watching these videos every day and, like, diving into my training and joining my Facebook group for my BTMS Insiders members, like, you're surrounding yourself more and more with people who are thinking like you, who are going after some of the same goals as you, who are looking to build the same future as you. And by internalizing all of this, you're also kind of creating a new world around yourself. And that's a big thing here. I don't believe the world around me will let me have the result. How will you support me sticking it to my doubters and overcoming all external obstacles? Well, maybe it's creating a new environment for yourself where you're surrounded by people and messages that are supportive. So going back through Objection number 1, I don't believe the product can get the result. The question that you have to answer is, why should I, your prospect, believe your promises? Objection number 2 is, I don't believe I can get the result. The question you have to answer is, how is this different than everything that's failed me before? And objection number 3, I don't believe the world around me will let me have the result. And the question you have to answer is, how will you support me sticking it to my doubters and overcoming all external obstacles? Now, aside from all the surface details and surface objections like price and all of that, if you present your product and you make a compelling promise that aligns with the desires that your prospect has, and you convince them, based in truth, right? You convince them that your product or service can get the result, that they can get the result with your product and service, and that the environment that they find themselves in today will not stop them from getting the result. Well, at that point, they're pretty bought in. And if the value proposition of your product outweighs whatever cost you're asking them, whatever investment you're asking them to make, then it's really hard for them not to buy at that point. Now, if you want to get really good at writing the kind of copy and putting together the kind of marketing that allows you to overcome objections and present your products and services in the best way, you really should be a BTMS Insiders member. I have, it's like Netflix for copywriting and marketing training. You pay one low fee, $97 a month is the current price. And you get access to everything, instant streaming access. And some examples of what you might want to check out in there is my high velocity copywriting program, which gives you templates for how to structure powerful direct response copy based on the only 3 big idea types. There is my proof, credibility, and believability training with those 26 different types of proof, credibility, and believability elements that you can use. And my story selling masterclass. Stories are a really powerful way. If somebody's feeling like, I don't believe I can get the result, but you show them a story, you tell them a story of someone like them, or maybe even someone who's been in a worse off situation than them, who was able to get the result through the product, well, you're going a long way towards helping them bust through that objection. And stories are really useful throughout marketing, and especially the way that I teach them. There are over 24 different story templates in that program that will take you down the rabbit hole of becoming an incredible, let's say, master story seller. So that's the story selling masterclass. So all of that, it all adds up, and you get access to all of it for $97 for the next month. My name is Royfer. This has been a video issue of Breakthrough Marketing Secrets. I'd love it if you could let me know on a scale of 1 to 10 in the comments below how valuable you found this and why. What's your big takeaway? What's your action item? How are you going to use these objections and questions to write more powerful marketing messages going forward? Also, tap that like button before you go so you get more content like this delivered to you. And so the magical algorithms of the internet will share it with more people like you who will find it valuable. You can certainly share it with folks directly, and subscribe before you go. Subscribe here. Also go to breakthroughmarketingsecrets.com. The link is in the description to get my daily emails Monday through Friday, including these videos and exclusive content for email subscribers. And I'll include links in the description to high velocity copywriting, the proof, credibility, and believability training, and the story selling masterclass, so you can check those out as part of the BTMS Insiders membership. Again, Royfer for Breakthrough Marketing Secrets. I always aim for a 10 out of 10 value. Hope that I've delivered it here, and I look forward to seeing you again in your next video issue. See you soon. Bye.